Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night with FGM ECast presenting the Australian Pro Maz Series, or Indy Light Series as we're calling it here. I am your host, Stuart Brown, for this evening. We've got a pretty depleted field here, to be brutally honest, for a Friday night. This series has been building up, but we've had a number of late withdrawals, unfortunately, which has meant that we've only got 7 drivers here at the moment. So it is a 30-minute time certain race here, yellow flags on and all of that sort of stuff. Drivers were saying it's been a pretty difficult week to prepare for this one. So it is our first oval track race here tonight at Pocono. So Pocono is a triangular circuit. So looking forward to seeing how the guys get around here. We are in the midst of qualifying. We've got about 5 minutes to go. And straight after this one, we may have our IndyCar series, but equally they're depleted numbers, unfortunately. So just have to see how we get on with that. Another lap certain race with yellow flags. So look, this is our pilot season of this one, so we are learning as we go. Definitely still plenty of room available for people if you are watching and you do want to get involved in an IndyCar series. This does run every fortnight on a Friday night, so I wouldn't tie you up every single week. We've still got 4 or 5 rounds to go in this one as we build up to our full year next year, or our 6-month calendar next year for this one, where we will follow the official IndyCar series calendar, and looking forward to doing that. I'm flying solo tonight, and I'm going to need the people watching the broadcast to get involved, and we had some good conversations Friday fortnight ago just about iRacing and esports and all sorts of things in general. So if you are around, pop in, say hello, and let's have a chat on Friday night. So we'll be with you now till around about 9 o'clock, and looking forward to getting this one underway in around about 5 minutes time. At the moment, Josh Maynard on pole. The great thing about a little bit of a change up in the field is we're going to see some different results here as well, so looking forward to that one. Welcome to Billy Hickey, who's joined the series from across the ditch, and another one of our New Zealand drivers joining into this series. So we're rapt to have him come in and give us some support. We've had a few out through illness and some even through injury. So that is what it is. It's been a long week, and I've been looking forward to this one. So we haven't really, in fact, other than doing the IndyCar series, we've not done a lot of oval track stuff at all. So keen to see how these Pro Mazdas go getting around here. Track speeds, the IndyCar, I understand, will get up to around about 340 kilometres an hour around here. Just have a look at the Pro Mazda. So these cars out of the draft here, I already at, what's this, Brenton Hawkins here up to 268 as his top speed. We've seen 282 from Ron Polito as well. This is on PC, Patrick, so this is through the iRacing simulation platform that is PC only. So yeah, 282 kilometres an hour from Ron Polito, who is just in pit lane as we've got 2.5 minutes to go. There's no maximum laps these guys can do. We run a 10-minute open practice session. So that is the, thanks for the like there, Patrick. The requirement for these guys, they've got 10 minutes to get the job done. And Pocono, probably a slightly difficult track for us to pick first up as a first, in inverted commas, oval track race here. As you can see there on the screen, they're not quite the oval, but certainly a high-speed track, even in these little Pro Mazdas. So just jump out on the back here with these guys. This is Brad Klink and Carl Barvik. Using the advantage of the draft to try and get in a quick lap. Even Devon Stone here jumping on the back in the Simblacks entry. So trying to run in a group to get the benefit of the draft. These cars actually do get a massive, massive benefit from the draft. So trying to use that to their advantage to get themselves that little bit further up the field. Josh Maynard's still our pole sitter with a 55.25. So expect to see around about 30 laps here. There shouldn't be any requirement for a pit stop. They should be able to just get the job done on the single tank, and certainly not expecting them to take tyres. So the strategy in our later race in the IndyCar main race will be interesting to see with a 90-lap race there. So the joining us for the first time, the structure of this series is pretty straightforward. We are running the Pro Mazda effectively as a development series. And then leading that one into our main category as Devon Stone here is on a hot lap. He has gone fastest through the first sector and does a 55.23. That will take him to the top of the timing sheets. So a great result for him there. Well done, Devon. And so, yeah, we've got this as the development series to get some training, get some time in, learn how to drive the cars, and we're adapting this series as we need to improve it. There, with throwing around a couple of other ideas. It is an open setup class. It's not a fixed setup class. So we're looking at potentially moving away from that to a fixed setup class to make it a little less time required for the drivers to get the cars set up. And then obviously running on a Friday night does have its challenges too. So we will press on and see what we can do with this one tonight. As we head to Pocono, this is round 3 of the Indy Pro and the Light Down Under series, brought to you by FGM ECast. So qualifying's finished now. These laps should still count. They're still working with the draft here. So we've got Barvik, Klink and Josh Maynard out on track. Maynard currently second on track. Klink and Barvik there using the draft extremely well. You can see how close they are to one another to try and make the benefit of the draft as big as possible. The Bow Repairs logo there shining bright on the nose of that Pro Mazda of Klink. Definitely what you want to do. They get a little, you can see there just the Klink car moving around a little bit at the back there. They get aero wash and they get a little light because of the added or removed downforce from the front of those cars, as Barvik and Klink, they're not quite able to get the job done. So we've got a starting grid here of Devon Stone. Welcome to the series, and he's dropped that up to the top of the timing charts. Followed by Josh Maynard, Brenton Hawkins, Brad Klink, Carl Barvik, Ron Polito, and then Billy Hickey at the end of our field. Just waiting for the cars to grid up here. I just want to see what we've got as far as weather. We've got a track temperature here of 39 degrees, so extremely warm. We are in a late afternoon time slot for the sim. So that is where the track temperature is coming from. So we're just waiting for the cars to get onto the grid, and when they do, we will jump on board with them here. Just waiting for the server to click over. Just not sure what's quite going on here. It's taking its time. In the meantime, it's a good time for us to give a shout out to our series, not our series, our channel partners, AFTERSHOCK PC, Ryan and the guys at St Kilda in Victoria. Do a fantastic job putting together custom PCs for just about anything, really. If you're looking to get into iRacing or racing of any sort, or gaming in general, really, then you can jump onto AFTERSHOCK PC, jump onto their website, and you will be able to have a look at the different setups they've got there pre-made. They also do custom built stuff as well. Yeah, jump on board and have a look at that site there. Great customer service, and we certainly use their computers here. We did before they became a partner of ours. So just a matter of jumping on board where you can and having a look at what they do if you're in the market for a new PC. You just see here the guys leaving pit lane. And they are behind the safety car. So it is a rolling start here for us tonight. And really here we're looking to see how these things get out and get around this track. 39 degrees, track temperature has jumped slightly again. As I said, we do have 4 yellow flags, so if there are incidents, then guys will be formed up behind the pace car. That time does count to this time certain race. In the Indies later on, it isn't a time certain race. It is actually it is both. It's a time certain race, but it is also mainly going to be driven by laps. There's a huge gap in between the two, so that one expected to be a 90 lap race here at Pocono shortly after this one. So Devon Stone, our pole sitter here, he will control the pace. They won't be able to go really, or they shouldn't go until that green flag waves. You can see the lights are out on the pace car. We'll get that weather off the screen there for you so that you can see what is going on. We'll bring the track map up in a moment so that you can see where your drivers are. That Simblak sponsored Pro Mazda looking fantastic right next to the Simrigs.com sponsored entry of Josh Maynard. So two great looking cars on our front row of the grid tonight for this one. And I've got to get fired up, so let's get something going in the chat as well. Give us some hellos and let us know that you're watching. As we said, a slightly smaller field here tonight than normal. We've got some people out, injuries and what have you, but we are going to go here green, and we've got Devon Stone off to a great start. He's going to stick down on the inside line for as long as he can, I imagine. Josh Maynard is still in second. Brenton Hawkins and Brad Klink just switching positions there as it's very tightly packed as we head down into turn 1 of lap 1 of this 29 or 30-minute race here at Pocono to open us up for the weekend. And they'll definitely want to be sticking in groups and not losing out on draft here if they can avoid it. The draft, really important to make sure that these things keep up with the lead pack. It's very much like racing in... Oh, as we've got a touch there on the inside, this will bring out a yellow flag. And Josh Maynard there has gone off, so he will jump into pit lane. Brenton Hawkins as well having an issue there. And Brad Klink jumping into pit lane. So we've got our first safety car for the evening. This will group the pack back up. These guys are able to use what are called fast repairs in this. We've set that up because of the type of race that we're on. So they'll jump back into pit lane and they will get a fast repair done to their car, get that fixed, and then get back out and around behind the safety car. So that they aren't too far behind. Thanks for the like there, Matty. Appreciate it. So we'll just stick on this camera here. You'll see the guys will get back into pit lane and they'll get that repair done and get back out again. So Brenton Hawkins, he is in pit lane there, as is Brad Klink. I'm not quite sure what happened to Brad Klink there, actually. I didn't see him get involved in that accident. So I don't know if he was having trouble with his accelerator on his sim before we got in tonight. And I'm just wondering if that has caused him some issues. We can't get really a close-up there, unfortunately, on the pit lane cameras. What we'll do is we'll jump on board with Brad and just have a look at that car there from... Yeah, oh, wow, yeah. So he's had a big accident there with that one with... yeah, basically no wheels left on that one at all. So the fast repair, when they get around, will pop wheels back onto that, basically rebuild that car for him, and hopefully get him back out onto track if he hasn't decided that those pedals aren't giving him too much trouble. So our race leader at the moment, Devon Stone, is just running around at the front of the field here. Again, as I said, these guys will want to make sure that they stick in the draft when we do go green again. We've got one jumping down into the pits there. That is Josh Maynard. He, I think, got a little bit of damage, unfortunately, when he came around the toe here, taking a terribly long time for these guys. They are in pit lane effectively at this stage for nearly 6 minutes is what it's telling me. So you just see Josh Maynard coming down pit lane behind them. Just drives through there. These guys should get their repairs done fairly shortly. We'll just skip forward to Maynard. No, he's in and out. So just quickly, I think fixed up there. He got a little nudge as part of the incident on lap 1. So he's just getting that corrected and back out. So this is the start to this for us. We're in this for the long run. We want to really get this series up and going in Australia and New Zealand. So we appreciate those of you supporting early. And as I said, if you are interested in getting involved, do jump on board. We would love it. And just see there, Brad Klink coming back out of pit lane. And Brenton Hawkins doing the same after getting their cars repaired from that earlier incident. So the light's still on the safety car here. The boys will run around and jump back onto the back of the field, and then we will get going again for some more green flag racing. We're going to be left, with about 25 minutes to go in this one. There's quite a big difference between the Dallara and the Pro Mazda. They obviously they look reasonably similar. I say reasonably similar. There's definitely, it's like the difference probably between Formula Ford and Formula V in our local categories. But the Pro Mazda is probably a little closer to the IndyCar than the Formula V is to the Formula Ford. Quite high pace. These Pro Mazdas are really zippy. So just a 2-litre motor in them. But they handle really well, and they're a great car to drive. I've been really, really impressed with them in the driving that we've done testing for this series. And it's different to just about anything else that you drive. It's not quite like Formula One. They're a bit more pointy than a Formula One car. But definitely in the Dallara, the Pro Series IndyCar, we call this one Indy Light. In the Indy Pro Series, that halo that they talk about to protect the drivers is terribly difficult to see past. It's something that takes a lot of getting used to, with having this big post in the middle of your vision. So they're a little trickier to drive as the lights are out on the safety car. So hoping here to get back under green flag action again as we head into this with, as I said, just on 23 minutes to go once the safety car peels off. Just waiting for that there. The field under control of Devon Stove. Drivers will all be keen to get going again, I'm sure. So off in another server, we do have the Pro Mazda, the Dallara guys getting themselves ready for their race, which will start. We'll get the tail end of qualifying for that one after this one. So they'll be getting ready for that, doing their practice, doing their warm up, and then jumping into qualifying. We'll get the tail end of the qualifying once we conclude here with the Indy Lights, trying to do what we do as a proper race weekend. And we're back under green flag here behind Devon Stone. We've got Carl Barvik right behind him, Billy Hickey in third, Josh Maynard fourth, Ron Polito fifth, Brad Klink and Brenton Hawkins rounding out our pack of 7 cars. The racing's nice and close, which is exactly what we want to see. Hopefully we can have some clean green flag running here as Devon Stone and Carl Barwick go at it for the lead of this race. We've got Barwick making his way through now to the lead. So just a matter here of trying to get some green laps under the belt and build a gap where they can. We've got cars side by side coming down the back straight there, using the draft as best they can. It gets a little hairy in there with the draft, with the aero wash, and also the way that the front end of these cars lightens up. So we've got nice close vision here. We'll jump on the back of Barwick's car. You can see there everyone all over the back of everyone else. So it's a matter here of just being clean and consistent. It's no different to any other type of racing that you do, but very much need this to be as close as you can. We're going to get there a real good vision of the FGM ECast logo on the front of Devon Stove's car as he uses the draft to his advantage to get past Barwick. So we go four wide through the corner there. That's always going to be risky business. They don't want to get high if they can avoid it. It's always where you end up spraying the car into the wall. So just looking for track position as best they can. Got to be really, really aware of all the cars around you here. They'll all be running a program probably called Crew Chief, which is like having a spotter in your ear. You'll be saying car high, car low, and letting them know that they can't move from the lane that they're in. They do run a thing. Oh, wow, as Barwick there just puts the cheese in the sandwich, and Billy Hickey there doing a good job just to back out of that and give him the room that he needs. So we've got, wow, again, they're really close. You can see there in terms of struggling for vision, but again, we've got Hickey. This is fantastic racing. Yeah, it is unfortunately at the moment, Muck. We're trying to resolve that problem. We believe that it's part of the restrictions on bandwidth because of COVID. Our settings are okay, so apologies for that. The replay won't be. The recording is in full 1080p, so we are working to try and get that resolved. Diving right down onto the inside line there, Barwick down near the yellow control line just to try and make sure he's got space here. Josh Maynard in the thick of this as well. This pack is not breaking up. And we've got Brad Klink joining the party as well. He's a lap down, but that doesn't matter. You run what you brung, and he is equally just cracking through. So we're three wide. He's close to his teammate there as well. He won't want to touch him and take out Barwick, who is challenging for the lead of this race. Just try and zoom out a little bit there just to try and get it. You can see we've still got 7 cars. Yes, I will. Yeah, Mark. The replay will be up later on in a 1080 as well, mate. So just give the page a follow. You'll get the notification, or just pop back when you can. So still using the draft effectively here. You can see Stove and Hickey there trying to make sure that they're using the draft to maximise the speed of their cars. Fair bit of teamwork going on here, which we like to see as well. Brad Klink, unfortunately, with that issue early on, he is effectively has unlapped himself, albeit he's right in the middle of this battle. So, loving watching how close these are. And this is the point. This is why we want to get this series up and going. Look at this. We've had now, with green flag racing, which is great, we've had 4 laps now of basically less than a tenth between our 7 participants tonight. Oh, wow, there's a little bit of a bump there, but Barwick's done well to get that out of the way, or get out of the way of that. You just got to be careful. You can't move too much without risking running into someone. So, doing a good job here. Our leaders trying to make pace with the help of the draft. How wide are we going to go into the turn this time? We're going to go 4 wide. No, the guys are pulling in behind one another now, and that's what they need to do. These 4 cars, these teams need to work their teams together and really use the draft to pull away. The pack behind them really doing a great job to keep up as well. So excellent racing from all the drivers here, making sure that they're clean and tidy as we get through this one and get another lap done. We just had a car there, Ron Polito, disappearing with a little bit of internet issue, but coming back and doing a good job. You just see him there blinking on the inside of the track. It's not what you want to see. We also want to just check how fast we're going down the straights. Get the lap back up here as well. Just not really wanting to play with us there, but that's okay. So it's showing Polito up into 3rd now, which he effectively is. The Barvik's struggling a little bit there, and as you can see, when you get out of the draft, you just end up getting into the pack where you don't want to be. So Polito up into third. He has now got Barvik right behind him as Brad Klink in the effective lead of this race, but not actually. He's trying to unlap himself, and for him, the benefit would be a caution flag to get back around, and there it is. There it is, unfortunately. That is a big accident, and that's going to hurt Devon Stone and Billy Hickey. Hopefully they can get those cars back around to pit lane. I'm not sure they're going to be able to. Klink was a lapped car there, so that's not ideal. But he is still entitled to race 4 position, so we'll review that after the race. But for this minute now, we'll get... hopefully get these guys, yeah. So Billy Hickey's still able to drive, so he will come through pit lane. He won't lose a lap. And Devon Stone doing the same thing, doing a great job with the damage on the front of that car to get that. He's going to get that back to pit lane and not lose a lap, which is the most important thing. So he will join back onto the back of the track. So, yeah, he got right up to into first position there, Ron. He's doing a good job here. So, just wanting to get into pit lane, these guys, get that repair done before they lose a lap, and they should do it here. Oh, he's missed the pit lane entry there. He's just going to make it happen. Which is fine, as long as he gets it done. We want to get him back out onto the main lap. So, running into pit lane there. Oh, he's thought that he's missed the entry, but he actually didn't miss the entry. So Stove's in. Hickey's off track, but he's in pit lane as well now. So these two will get their cars repaired and hopefully won't get lapped. Brad Klink there unlapping himself. And that's worked out all right for him. And I think for Hawkins and Hickey, they will get themselves back into the race. So I want to make sure they get out before the safety car comes around. So just focusing here on Hickey. He's getting tyres done as well, so he's taking full advantage of the fact that he's had to pit. And where's he going to go? Yeah, no, unfortunately they're going to go a lap down, which is disappointing. So Hickey there is on the right lap, but it looks like Brenton Hawkins has unfortunately gone a lap down. So there's not much we can do about that. Unfortunately, he's going to be a lap down as a consequence of that incident. So looking to him to see if he can get himself back up. Brad Klink has gone into pit lane as well. So that will mean he's not going to get lapped. He's back out on the lead lap. So, but he decided there to take some fresh tyres. So we're going to have about 14 minutes of racing left in this one. Once we do get off the caution period. The lights on the safety car still ablaze there. We've got Ron Polito in the lead. So, Sovi, you did join at exactly the right time with Ron in the lead of this race. Josh Maynard right behind him. Carl Barvik into third. Billy Hickey fourth. We've got Devon Stone fifth. Brad Klink in sixth. And unfortunately, Brenton Hawkins a lap down in seventh spot. But he will battle, I am absolutely sure, for the rest of this race. So the caution period's here counting because this is a time-certain race. The race only goes for 30 minutes. So the longer we stay under safety car, the less time there is for these guys to get this battle resolved. good mixture at the front there between Polito Brothers Motorsport. We've got Josh Maynard there in the simrigs.com sponsored Pro Mazda, and Carl Barvik in the Bow Repairs Redback race team car as well. Billy Hickey, new to the series, he is currently running 4th. Haven't picked up the sponsorship on his car. I think it was Sim Black, which is great. They are a good sponsor of a lot of the guys from New Zealand. They get heavily involved in the sim racing scene over there, which is fantastic. Exactly what we like to see. So just waiting for the lights to go out on the pace car, as it looks like they have. So this will be our last lap under safety car. He will pull off as he comes around the corner here, and it'll be up to Ron Polito to see if he can work with Josh Maynard to get a gap on the rest of the pack for the remainder of this race. Lap times between the field reasonably close, so expect some fireworks as we get towards the back end of this race. 12 minutes to go as we sit, just under 12 minutes to go as we sit. Coming around there, as you can see, through turn 2, so we've still got a little bit of the track to go. Turn 2, the sharpest turn on the track. We'll get through turn 3, and then it will be green, green, green as we go racing again for a 10-minute, effectively 10-minute sprint race in the Indy Light, brought to you by AFTERSHOCK PC. Your rig, your choice. We are also a Razer streamer, and I do use a Razer headset to bring this to you. And also, I need to speak about Virtual Motorsport Mentor, but I'm going to wait as the flag goes green and Polito gets us off and running again. Josh Maynard got a good jump there on Ron as well, so it looks like he's going to challenge him for position. We've got Billy Hickey around the outside of Carl Barvik as well. Brad Klink there, just dropping off a little bit towards the back. We've got Billy Hickey and Brenton Hawkins as well, so trying to work together to get themselves up the pack between Stone and Hickey. They'll use the draft where they can. Wow, a big cut through there by Barvik to try and make his way out into the front. Just need to play a little bit of strategy here, these guys. It's okay to sit in the wind and get it done. So, Melissa, well done. Thank you for that. I'm not sure who you're supporting there, but I'm sure they can get it done if you're right behind them. So thanks for joining. So we've still got Polito in the lead and Barvik on the top line of the track as we're 4 wide again, almost trying to make it 5 wide again down the front straight. Polito's going to lose out here because he hasn't got the benefit of the draft, but we are 4 wide. These guys doing a really good job of keeping it neat and tidy. And that's what we want. We've got Hickey and Stone trying to make use of that draft and help one another out. We've got the Bow Repairs cars coming through at the back for Redback race team, so definitely trying to get it done here. Maynard right down on the inside line of the track here, doing it all by himself, as you just see cars shooting left and right, trying to get the job done. Klink back up into 4th as well, using the draft to his effect. He's behind Polito here. You've got Hickey and Hawkins really using their draft to their advantage as well. You can see them on the top line of the track as there's not much room to move here. It's definitely about being as consistent and smooth as you can and trying to find someone to tag with to get the benefit of the draft. These guys not able to break away from the main pack. It's great for us to watch, but really what they want to be doing is working together to get a gap on the field. Otherwise, it's going to come down to who best uses the draft in the last lap of the race to be able to punch a hole in the air, pull out, and get that extra speed that they get the benefit of through to the checkered flag. So Hawkins is actually a lap down. He is the car effectively in the second row on the screen. We're just getting into train mode here, which is what they need to do. He's just pulled over in front there of Polito, Billy Hickey and Devon Stone, just trying to get themselves through. Stone up to the top side of the track, and Polito has lost out a bit there. Sorry, Hawkins to the top side of the track. My apologies. So we've got Stone and Hickey in the front here, and Polito still battling with Hickey for that second position at the moment. He really needs to try and crack the gap there if he can and keep the draft. He's doing a good job, Ron. He needed to keep himself there to stop the draft benefit for anyone else, as we're now 5 wide down the front straight. As we head into turn 1, that number's not going to work. You can see there effectively the lanes on the track. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes as the guys Stone and Hickey pull in behind one another to try and use the draft. Polito's doing a good job of getting in the way there and keeping it clean to try and confiscate that draft behind Devon Stone from Billy Hickey, and that actually will help him. He'll get the benefit of the draft, and it stops the teammates ganging up on everyone else. Got Clink and Barvik trying to work together too here. I wonder what their strategy is. They're quick enough to do it. There's 2 of them there to work together. As Brenton Hawkins is right out on the outside here as well. He's doing a great job. He needs to unlap himself if he can, and he's certainly working hard to do that. Just very quickly going to jump on board here with Ron Polito and have a look at how he is getting it done. We're on top of his helmet, effectively, is the view we've got here from the back. You can see the back of Devon Stone's car. They see the benefit of the draft. He's on the rev limiter. It's that effective, and that pushes him into the lead. So what they're going to be looking for with 6 minutes to go is you want to be thinking towards the last lap of the race. The last lap of the race is going to be with a minute to go, and you want to be in the position to get that slingshot. You can see there he got the benefit of the slingshot from Devon Stone. What he doesn't want to do, geez, there's a lot of dirt on the track down on that line there. Very dirty for the guys as well. What he doesn't want to do is to be that car that's going to be the sacrifice. You can see him just pull out there. The car is on the limiter. So there's not a lot that they can do there to do much more than to use the draft to get the slingshot. And that's probably part of the issue as to why they're all still grouped together. There's no extra rev limit for these guys to get these things moving out of the draft because they hit the limit before they get the benefit of it. So a little bit of setup work there for the guys to do to get these things to move. But you can see how quickly it just pulls Ron up there. And he's on the limiter real hard, but he's got the benefit there and he's got the job done. So that's what he needs to do on the last lap of the race if he's going to take it out. As we've had another incident here as well. So we're going to go back into yellow flag territory. We've had Barvik, Stone and Polito crash. Unfortunately there, Polito, the innocent victim in that one. So he's going to need to limp his way if he can. No, and he can't. He's had to eject. So by the time they get the tow back there, it's going to be whether or not they can get back out on the track, but they're unfortunately both going to go a lap down in this one. So at the moment, Josh Maynard is going to pick up the pace car and he will be in the lead of the race. So pity here that Brenton Hawkins couldn't get out in front of the pace car and get himself back out on the lead lap. So we're going to end up at this stage with 4 cars on track. And that's a disappointing outcome for the guys. They were doing a good job. So close together, so tightly packed. And it is our first run at an oval track, so it was always to be expected. There was going to be a little bit of carnage. Devon Stone there is in pit lane as we speak. He is getting the car tidied up and he will be back out in a flash. Fortunately, both these guys still having fast repairs left, so they will get back out onto the track as well. So that's where that little bit of prep time comes into it for these guys to get the car to maximise the tow around these tracks. So we're going to finish this race with effectively, I think, a 2-lap sprint. So that's going to be cool to watch for us. Thanks for that, Phil. Yeah, he'll get back out on the track. Don't worry about that. He's got a fast repair left. It's just more now whether or not there's time. With 3.5 minutes to go, by the time he gets the tow back to pit lane, there's every chance that he's not going to be able to get back out on the track, and nor will Barvik. So it's quite a big accident, actually. We'll see if we can bring that replay to you, which I'm sure we can. So we were on board with Polito when this happened, and it gets really dirty. Oh, and he's been pushed. So actually 3 innocent cars in that, and that is not great at all. So that's why, unfortunately, Ron got done there. It looks like Devon Stone or perhaps Billy Hickey. I didn't catch the car number there. Unfortunately, pushing up into his teammate and then causing a effective slide up the hill with the effect of the camber of the track. So Carl Barvik has got back out there. And Ron Polita is going to follow him very shortly behind. So that's good. We will get back under full racing here. And the benefit of those fast repairs. Unfortunately, they now are a lap down. Polito, Barvik and Hawkins. But better to finish the race and get that little bit of extra experience. You'll see Ron, he'll jump into the Pro Mazda after this. As will Brad Klink to run in that series too. So they'll get a second crack at it, and you know what, they'll have their eye a little bit in, albeit those cars a lot quicker. Have their eye in to get that underway and get it done as quickly as they can. So hopefully the lights will go out on the safety car. We're going to end up with 1 lap. By the look of it, we can't call that safety car off any earlier, unfortunately, and it could be that Maynard inherits the wind. The wind inherits the wind, not the wind, inherits the win from Brad Klink and Billy Hickey in third. So lights are out on the safety car as we get across the line now. The laps are 2 minutes. So I think we're unfortunately going to have a finish under safety car here for our first oval track race of the Indy Light Series, which is disappointing. But the guys did a cracking job while we were under green flag, and they'll all learn something from it. And definitely can't wait to the next time we get to run these at an oval track. It'll be great, I reckon. So let's see how we go. I think we're just going to miss out. The safety car will come across the line, so we may get +1 out of that, or it will go across as a checkered flag. So we'll see what comes of it. The guy's swerving, trying to get the tyres warm before they go green. Do stick around. We do have our Dallara IR18 or the Pro Indy Series coming up after this. Same track, and yeah, we've got that starting. We'll jump into the tail end of qualifying for that session in a couple of minutes after this one finishes. So watch that safety car pull off, and it still says we're going to go racing. So hope that means it's going to be +1 lap, because it is a yellow flag finish here at this stage, which will award Josh Maynard his first win in this series in that simrigs.com sponsored car, as also sponsored by BoxFit, who do a lot of work for, or a lot of sponsorship for the guys in that team. So the Rabid race team. So we've got a green flag, so we're going to have 1 lap. It's going to be 1 lap to finish this race off. So what's going to happen here? It's going to be crazy. We've got 4 cars on the lead lap doing literally a 1 lap dash for the win here. Definitely going to want to be using the draft. Talking about positioning the car, Billy Hickey's jumped out in front here. We've got Hickey and Maynard fighting it out there, and followed by Brad Klink and Devon Stone. So they're our 4 lead cars here. They're going to try and do some drafting and help one another out if they can. They're 3 wide down the back straight, heading into that tight left-hander on the triangle. Let's hope we get through this one cleanly. Maynard here trying to maintain his position in the lead of this race, doing a good job at it as well. Got searching going on behind him. There's a little touch there from Billy Hickey. Maynard still in the lead here as we go through the final turn, trying to use drafting. We've got Brad Klink there trying to stick his nose in the business. We're going to go wide, Klink down, grabbing some grass. It's going to be a really close finish here. Who's going to get the win? I think it's going to be Maynard. Just is it? Yes, it is. Maynard gets the win by 2/100ths of a second. What a cracking finish to the end of the first of the races there in the Pro Mazda. Well done, as there's a big stack at the end here, which does not really make a lot of difference as we finish the race. So we've got Maynard from Clink, I believe, as the results for that race. Maynard from Hickey, Stove, and then Clink. That doesn't quite look right, but we'll stick with it. A fantastic end to the race there. One for the highlight reel, and well done to all the drivers in what is a difficult place to start in the oval track for the IndyCars. So we'll just bring our podium in to have a quick chat in the broadcast room here. We're joined by Billy Hickey and Josh Maynard. Josh, congratulations, 2/100ths of a second.
Yeah, it was bloody close. I didn't think I was going to get there in the end. I saw everyone around me, saw the noses and stuff coming up the front, and I was just looking for the line, hoping it could get closer.
Yeah, well, you just managed to get it done. We were talking that it was going to be a one-lap sprint race at the end there. Obviously, a difficult place to start in the IndyCars doing effectively oval track racing, but albeit for a few incidents, I think it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, it was. You obviously don't want to be ahead in these. You get a pretty good tow sitting behind, and that was pretty evident starting behind on the other safety cars as well. So yeah, just trying to get a good start there. Had Brad behind me. Brad's a quick driver, so had the pressure on.
Definitely trying to get through there on the end, wasn't he?
He was. That's the nose that I saw, and I thought he had me. Didn't know until just now when I've looked at the results.
Yeah, that he's just managed to you just managed to get him across the line. So, and Billy, a good start to you, mate. Welcome to the series and second place after all that.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that was I'll tell you for what, that was a lot more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. That was, it was hard work. Me and Devon were working pretty hard together to try and get up there and get a decent result. Obviously, being involved in a couple of incidents sort of hampered it a wee bit, but with such a small field, we're able to capitalise on things a bit. But no, hey, look, that was a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be. That's for sure, and really enjoyed it. And a big ups to Josh for taking that win, because man, that was a tense few laps.
Yeah, it was. We were jumping around, and there was really no way that anyone was going to get a gap. Rev limit on the car being hit relatively early when you pull out of the stream, even after you get that slingshot. So we're sort of we're always going to be stuck a little bit, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that it provides close, entertaining racing, especially in these cars when you're absolutely flat out the whole time, and all you're relying on is a draft of someone. I was pretty fortunate to have to be able to work with Devon there, of course. Both of us being from Iridium Sim Sports, so it was great to be able to work with him and get something out of it. My first ever official IndyCar race came here at Pocono, so I like the track, and yeah, look, a big challenge, a big learning curve, but no, it's been really fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no dramas at all, and obviously just an opportunity there to mention your sponsors as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're a really new team, so we're just getting out there and doing the best for our sponsors. So look, it's a big shout out to Sim Blacks, Devon Stove Designs, Enhanced Social, and oh geez, you think I'd know all of them? But I think there's a few others on there as well. There's only a handful, but yeah, no, that's all of them. So yeah, big shout out to everyone, and big thanks to Devon Stove as well for throwing the designs together, and of course Jordan McDonnell and the rest of the guys at Iridium. It's great. Thank you.
No worries, and looking forward to seeing you again in a fortnight and see how we go with a fuller field. And Josh, same to you, mate. Obviously, the opportunity just to say, particularly to your sponsors, I know that they get around and give a lot of support to your team, given how big your team is. So if you want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, just thanks to BoxFit and the other guys back at our Rabbit Racing team as well. Always good to get on, just for a bit of fun and stuff, muck around, and here we are.
On the pole, I think TK took out a win for your team in the AEE series. But is this the another one? How many wins are you on now? Is this?
This would be 2 for any of the series that we run with you, mate. So
yeah, beautiful. Well, that's good. It's always good to get another one up on the board. So, and obviously, yeah, a great win. We'll definitely chuck that into a highlight reel and send it off to iRacing and see if we can get it into the highlights for the month of September. So a good result.
I'll tell you what, I just want to be famous on iRacing. I'll feature in one of those videos. I've done everything I came to do.
Oh, no worries. Well, we've had someone in before, so I will clip it and send it off because, I mean, it's 2/100ths of a second. Look, it's a fantastic finish 4 wide down the back straight, so it was great to watch.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Stu.
No worries at all, guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
And so we're going to a break now, and we will jump across to the full Indy Series, the Indy Pro Series at Pocono as well. Those guys have been doing some warm-up in the background. We will jump on to the end of their qualifying session and have a look at what's going on there. So don't go too far as we just changed servers. We're just going to run an ad for our sponsors, and we'll be back with you live in a couple of minutes on FGM Esport, your place of pace.
Simrigs.com is dedicated to not only supplying quality products, but also helping you achieve your potential and goals within the sim community. Race clean. This is the most important thing to progressing in any of the racing simulators out there. Be consistent and stay on your race line. Someone that is much faster will overtake you when they can. Moving off your line to get out of the way can cause more trouble than you think. Have fun. You will wreck quite a bit. Sometimes your fault, plenty of times not your fault. Learn from it. Wreck avoidance is key. Whether you're just starting out and wanting an entry grade setup, or have been in the sim scene for years and needing a well-deserved upgrade, Simrigs.com is here to help. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. At Ferguson Group Media, we are a full-service marketing agency built for today. Day in, day out, we are about attracting attention to build brands. We believe that every business is a marketing and media business and should have access to a content creating machine. That's where we fit in. We also understand about extracting value from social media marketing and digital marketing. Video is king in producing content for your business. From it, all other forms of content can flow. We are set up to film, edit, and post-produce content at scale. This enables us to keep costs down, allowing small businesses to also access our products. Don't hesitate to reach out and chat about your content ideas. Your local digital marketing agency, Ferguson Group Media. There is an awful lot to learn, and it takes quite some time. Trying to work it all out on your own can be confusing and overwhelming. It can be super hard to get on the track, never mind being competitive. For me, I was lucky enough to get involved with a group of guys that were really fantastic and gave me a lot of knowledge and support. This helped me to progress with my skills and got me up to speed very quickly. After a solid 5 years honing my skills, I now feel I'm in a position to help others. So I'm all in on Virtual Motorsport Mentor and loving every moment. I created this platform to help drivers develop their skills and get the support and feedback they need to improve their drive lines, speed, setups, and more. My goal is to see you become the best driver you can be. The question is, how far do you want to take it? I look forward to helping you drive fast and win more. Chris, Virtual Motorsport Mentor.
All right, everyone, and we're back. I slightly undercooked the timing on that one tonight as well, so we're into it now. We've got Julian Klein-Bussink, Lee Vandenberg, followed by Daniel Yemen, Chris Purnell, Reese Harnell, Carl Barvik, Brad Klink, Ron Polito, and Michael Skurlock rounding out our grid. It looks like Skurlock's had some issues. He is not running at the moment. So jump on board with Klein-Bussink, our race leader at this point in time. You can see here plenty of drafting is going to go on here as well. It's going to be a nutcase event for us if it's anything to go by on the last one. We've got 90 laps here. We do have a time certain race as well, but looking at the 90 laps on this one. So let's see what happens here. I wonder if the finish can be as close as the Pro Mazda was. So drivers here talking about how they've gone in terms of race preparation for this one, saying they were struggling a little bit to get some consistency in these cars. It's different to, certainly different to what we've done in the past here with mainly, well, obviously we've only done circuit racing in this series so far. So again, here really the key is to try and make sure that we don't end up with people in the out of the draft. You want to stick with the draft as much as you can to try and make sure that you get through this one. As we see there, Carl Barvik doing his best imitation of a crab down the back straight. So he'll get that one back to pit lane. Hopefully won't lose a lap, but will get himself back out on track. He's in the lane now. He'll get a fast repair done on that one. And that can be the difference, jumping from car to car. We do appreciate very much that a couple of our drivers do the double here. And Carl and Brad are two of those drivers, along with Ron Polito as well, who jump out of one series into another one, just to make sure we've got some numbers to get this thing done. So we appreciate their input. Definitely difficult to have done a full race at an oval track and then coming around after that. All right, let's jump back on board here with Julian Klein-Bussink, who's doing a cracking job out in front here. I want to show you what I was talking about in the prior race in terms of the vision out of these cars and how difficult it can be to actually see. So we're going to jump into cockpit view here with... we're actually going to jump on board with Lee Vandenberg because I want you to be able to see the car in front of you just to give you some perspective. So we'll jump on board with him in cockpit view here. So this is the view that the driver has. And you can see, oh wow, as we jumped on board there with Lee with a big slide, so hopefully we haven't given him the commentator's effect, but you can see there straight ahead there's a car in front of him, and it's heavily impacted in his vision by the surround on the screen, that protective surround that it has. So makes it a little bit difficult, particularly on the circuit, so they've got to keep an eye out for that. So Vandenberg there, just trying to be nice and smooth. You can see they're having to change down gears, particularly around that slower left-hander. These guys, again, running an open setup here, so it's easy for them to find maybe a little bit of an advantage if they can. And these cars definitely quicker in a straight line. So let's just turn on that. We've got that dashboard on there. You can see there, 340. We've actually had Lee in the draft 374 kilometers an hour, so certainly quicker than the Indy Pro, which is why you can understand we jump on and look out the back now of the car as well, just to give you that appreciation for the speed of these things. They're absolutely fantastic to drive. So, yeah, we want Lee Vandenberg there's just doing a good job keeping nice and consistent. Reece Harnell's entered pit lane here. I'm not sure if he's diving in early to get his stop done. They will need to make a pit stop at some stage here this evening to make sure they get all the way through. And that itself is important in terms of when they get that done. They don't want to be leaving it too late. But you equally don't want to jump too early and risk the chance of being able to get it done under the safety car if there is one. So wanting to make sure that they just stick around for as long as they can. I want to get a bit of a gauge here on the gaps, albeit we can see the distances here, around about a second, half a second between a number of our front-running cars. So I'm just going to jump out to our blimp view here. So this is our first 4 cars. You can see Klein Bussink at the bottom of the screen there, Vandenberg behind him. Daniel Yemen is the car that we're focusing in on, and then you've got Chris Purnell behind him in that lead pack. So that's our lead pack of 4 cars there. The draft comes into effect here around about half a second. So right now, Vandenberg and Yemen can actually work together if they want to try and catch the gap up to Klein Bussink. We'll keep an eye on Yemen's pace. Remembering here that the top speed is just dropped way off there as well. He must have had a little bit of a moment because Purnell in the 4th position car has closed up on him there, 0.26 of a second. So he's ducked down onto the inside lane to try and avoid the draft, to try and stop Purnell from being able to get a run in on him there. Yeah, they're doing trying to do their best to keep it as consistent as they can. Purnell here catching up on the back of him again. So jump on the front of the Purnell vehicle here and just have a look at how he's closing up. Actually looks like, yeah, he has his closed right up on the back of him there. So Yemen just struggling a little bit through that final corner, and that's hurting him. And down the back, or down the front straight, I should say. So he's exposed to Purnell now to an extent. See if he can get the job done here down the back straight. Purnell, as he goes to make the passing manoeuvre on the wall here on the inside. He's trying to go around the inside. He's going to get it done. Yes, he does. He gets it to stick, so he moves up into 3rd position. Again, these 2 guys could work together here using the extra pace they'll generate with the draft to try and catch up to our lead cars. So they need to work together where they can. It's a little bit spaced out down towards the back of the field here. We've got Carl Barvik, unfortunately, after that early incident, struggling in. He is in last place. Reese Harnell in 7th, Brad Klink in 6th, and Ron Polito in 5th position. He and Klink are fighting at the moment for that 5th and 6th position. And then we've got Klein Bussink, Vandenberg, and the battle we're on here with Purnell and Yemen. We do have a caution here. I'm not sure why that's been called, actually. So we'll have a look and see if we can spot any damage on any of the cars. But that's going to close things up. So we'll see whether or not it is that we can... And there you can see it there. We've got Carl Barvik again. Actually, that's showing me that that's Reese Harnell in a very, very damaged-looking Bow Repairs car. So he is making his way back around to the pits, and that is the cause for the caution. So that... car will be able to be repaired, but it means that from our viewing perspective, we're going to have the pack close up here, and it is probably too early, 13 laps into this 90-lap race, to do the pit stop they need to do to get to the end. So just got to wait and see what happens here. The bunching back up is going to help, particularly Polito and Klink, who had sort of dropped off a little bit at the start there, readjusting to these cars, having jumped out of the Pro Mazda. So really penalises Klein Bussink, who'd built himself a nice lead. And Vandenberg is Harnell now in pit lane. He'll get that car repaired and get out. He will be a lap down, however. So he and Barvik can have a little bit of a race there because they will be on lap for... So as we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, if you are interested in getting into some IndyCar racing, we run these 2 series on a Friday night. It is a bi-weekly series, so you're not committing every single Friday that you've got for a period of time. And it is a short series. We've only got around 8. Oh, wow. Very, very slow entry there from Vandenberg. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but he's been swamped. Maybe struggling to find the pit limiter there, but he's lost positions into pit lane. That's a very unusual thing to see. So you'll see Purnell and probably Yemen as well pop out in front of him, just depending on where their pit boxes are. Cars go, you can drive straight through like they have there. You can see that they're all going to take tyres. They'll all fuel up. And you may well see that even if there is a caution later on in the race, that these guys do end up pitting again there. So, yeah, Vandenberg there losing a position to Purnell on the exit. Yemen looks like he must have taken more fuel stationary for nearly 10 seconds. But Purnell getting the undercut done there on the entry to pit lane, which is a very unusual thing to see. So no real change to the order there with everybody coming in to do their pit lane service. So Reece Harnell is back out on track in the 222 car with Carl Barvik behind him. Just waiting to see if we can see if the lights are out on the safety car, or on the pace car as it's called. Who's that out in front? So Barvik actually at the front of the field. He should be asked to pull off to the inside and head to the back of the pack. Lights are still on the safety car. He's not pitted after having pitted on lap 2, so albeit in the front of the pack, he is actually a lap down, so nearly 2 laps down actually. So he may be trying to cut and run to get ahead of the pack here and try and unlap himself, but generally the instruction will be to pull to the inside and drop to the back of the field as a lapped car, so we'll see what comes of that. We've got 5 laps to, we've got 5 rounds to go still in this series, with a mixture still of oval, track and normal circuit racing in these cars. We alternate weeks, so if you are looking to do some IndyCar racing, come and jump on board. The races are lap and time certain, so you will not end up spending your whole Friday night racing, with the aim here to be done by 9 o'clock. So you can then do what you need to do after that. So lights are out here on the pace car. We are going to go green racing again. And once we do, we're going to be on lap 16. And that cycle did happen through there. So Barvik now back down to the back of the field. So front of the pack here, Klein Bussink, followed by Purnell, Vandenberg, Yemen, Klink and Polito on the lead lap. Reece Harnell a lap behind and Barvik a lap behind that. As we get underway and get racing again, it'll be important here. These guys will be on cold new tyres. For them to make sure that they do not end up costing themselves a lap or two getting a tow and repair. You just want to settle into a groove. There's a long way to go yet in this one. Not even halfway through the race. So I want to make sure that they do what they can do. Stick with someone. You see here Purnell all over the back of Klein Bussink. He really wants to, in my opinion, stick with him if he can and try and gap the field using the assistance of someone else, as they already are doing. They're a second now out in front, so there's no need to rush to get into the lead, and we'll see how he goes with that here. We've got Yemen and Lee Vandenberg behind him, Klink, my apologies, and Polito behind that as we get round 40 odd second lap here, 42, the fastest laps of the race. The track temp here will be quite high. There's a great shot there off the wall. So the laps will, lap time will probably drop off a little bit to that sort of mid 45 second lap. Thanks very much for the like there, Krishna. We appreciate it. So as we can see there, Purnell and Klein Bussing still fighting for the lead of this race. Side by side as we come back down to this fantastic shot off the fence on the back straight. And Purnell using the toe there. And that's what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting in the toe and just trying to use the car in front to save a little bit of fuel, but also to save a little bit of tyre condition and get your way away if you can from the car that you are fighting, the other cars that you've got the potential to fight with. The draft there being used to good effect as Klein Bussing gets right up on the back of Purnell again. You can see Yemen and Vandenberg fighting in the background as well as our top 4 cars go at it neck and neck with 70 to go in this one from Pocono. Klein Bussing moving back into the lead again. And they'll do this. They'll keep doing this lap dance. Oh, we shouldn't say that. They'll keep doing these this lap after lap where they keep changing it for the lead. Purnell back down on the inside here. Just using that extra pace that he gets out of the corner to push him up the straight. And unfortunately, again here, it's Klein Bussing who's going to do the same thing. And while this fight's been going on, all it's done is benefit Vandenberg, who's closing in on our lead too. Last time around, actually fastest man on the track, 42.59 for Vandenberg with those new tyres on. So he is coming. So I say Klein Bussing and Purnell really should have worked together here to try and create more of a gap. Getting that extra pace as they head down the straights by using the toe from one another lap after lap to get away from the cars behind them. You need to break the toe. As Klein Bussing does just that to a small effect. Heading around across the start-finish line at end of lap 21. So he's managed to get a little bit of a gap there. Not enough, but he will be slowly breaking that draft. Won't be much of an effect there anymore for Purnell, but what has happened is Vandenberg now in the toe. So this one's going to keep going. So the gap's relatively even now between these guys, just on 0.4 of a second. Front and rear of Purnell in second spot. Yemen now, unfortunately, a little bit in no man's land. You've got Polito and Clank behind that. There's a gap of around about 0.75 of a second between them. So the field is spacing out a little bit, but all we need is a lapse of concentration to bring that yellow flag out again. And we'll see the field bunch right back up as we're into the 24th lap of the 90 laps this evening. We hope wherever you are watching from in the world that you are having a fantastic Friday evening or afternoon, depending on where you're coming to us from, and that you are safe and healthy. So what are the drivers going to be doing right now? They are literally going to be trying to get into a groove that they can sustain for probably the next, I'd say 40 laps. If we can get 40 laps of green flag racing, then they will probably need to pit They pit early, but I don't know that it was going to be late enough for them to get the job done on that remaining tank. Plus the tyres will go off. The track temperature here is going to be in the high 30s. We'll just have a quick check of that now. And so actually it's not too bad. It's a little cooler than it was during our Pro Mazda race. So it's 33 degrees Celsius. It is a slightly later start, obviously, because it's coming to you after the Pro Mazda run. And that will help a little bit. Still not ideal, 33 quarter high temperature. But the tyre drop-off here will be prevalent. So we'll see the lap time slightly slow to probably around 43. Maybe 44 seconds, just looking at where the cars are at the moment. And then I think that the guys will end up jumping into pit lane to get themselves another one. G'day, Scotty. Yeah, mate, you should have seen the end of the Pro Mazda race. 2/100ths of a second, split 4 cars. So it was a fantastic one. And we've had just one early yellow flag here that's closed the pack back up after Klein Busick took out pole position. So these three battling it out. Field's a little thinner than we would like to see, but a few guys sick actually, and one with a rolled ankle, unable to drive. So a little thinner than normal for us here, but that's okay. Not a bad thing on our first oval in inverted commas race. Obviously this one's more of a triangle than an oval, but yeah, not a bad place to start for us. So Purnell well and truly in the draft again now. He's done the hard yards to get back into that zone, having dropped back to over half a second down on the leader, Klein Busick. So it won't be too long before he is annoying the back of Klein Busick's car. We'll jump on the nose with Purnell as we head through turn 1. And he will try and use the draft here. We'll keep an eye on the gap. It's currently at just on 3/10. He'll be right up on the back. He won't be able to get the job done here yet, but he'll get right up onto the back of the Klein Busick car as we head through turn 2. Now will be his chance to see the draft on that. Pull him right up behind him, and he's going to get the job done on the inside. Yes, he is. So these two will resume that ping-pong battle that we saw them having, which basically just saw them continue to rotate for the lead lap after lap for about the first 20 laps of this race. Yeah, doing what these cars do best, the draft there. You can see the massive advantage you get from being able to pull in behind and grab that draft down either of the straights on this track. Purnell there just moves down onto the inside of the track then. Again, he'll take the lead, will he? No, and stuck down on the inside, not where you want to be. And you can see there as well, Lee Vandenberg getting a great run. And again, getting the advantage of the draft there as Purnell does move into the lead. He's just actually going to have to sit in that line. He's not got the pace to get in front of Klein Busick at this point in time. And he's going to be exposed here to Vandenberg if he's not careful. Vandenberg enjoying the benefit of the draft from Klein Busick. So this battle tightening up at the front here. We've also got battle tightening up at the rear of the field with Klein Busick, with Clink and Polito just starting to tighten up for 5th and 6th position towards the back there. So plenty to come in this race. Carl Barvik in pit lane at the moment. He is, I think, just doing a normal stop. Having stopped a little bit earlier on in the race for a repair. You see there now that Purnell has dropped off again from Klein Busick. So that draft's so important in being able to keep up with the car in front of you. It's also equally as hard to build a gap, so really, really don't want to lose it if you're trying to work with another car to build a gap over an attacking car behind you. Sort of settled now at around about half a second between Purnell and our race leader, Klein Bussink, who we are on board with now. He can see the couple of cars chasing him down. A couple of interesting things in motorsport as well this week, with the Williams family pulling out of Formula One after this round. So disappointing there, with a huge chunk of Formula One history coming to a close. Got plenty of racing this weekend as well with Formula One on, and we've also got V8 Supercars again from the north, so plenty to watch if you're interested in motorsport. No, Scotty, they did sell control share, their controlling share of the team to an investment group. I think that came through maybe a week or so ago, but today Claire Williams announcing that she is resigning, and the family removing themselves from Formula One completely. So unfortunately, the end of an era there. Don't quote me on it, but I think 2 or 3 Formula One world titles, perhaps more. Obviously, some tragedy in their history as well, but certainly a big part of the Formula One landscape that has succumbed to COVID-19. Yeah, it's a very disappointing day for world motorsport, in my opinion. We need more of those independents in it to keep it interesting and viable. So Purnell out, 1.5 seconds now behind, but he is under pressure from Vandenberg, who is 0.2 behind him. So needs to get the pedal back down to the floor, pull the car mat, the floor mat out from behind that accelerator pedal, and get on with it. Otherwise, he's going to have Lee Vandenberg right behind him, giving him a hard time. So as we continue under green flag racing here, the driver's doing a good job. So as we mentioned earlier on, if you are interested in getting into some oval track racing or some IndyCar racing, we do still have plenty of spots available in both our Indy Pro, which is this series with the Dallara IR18, and our Indy Light series as well. So if you're looking to do some racing, we are only racing every second Friday night, and they are a shorter format race. Definitely the way to get involved if you're looking to do it. And we are running a full 6-month calendar next year for this, following the official IndyCar calendar once it's released. So look out for that one. Yeah, we were jumping on board before, Scotty, with the drivers, just giving the viewers a perspective, and we'll do it again now you mention it, of what it looks like to be in one of these cars. We didn't go on gearbox view, on roll bar view, my apologies. We actually ended up going on cockpit view, just so that you could see that protective halo that they run on the IndyCar, and how much it impacts your vision, literally cutting your vision in half as you look straight ahead. So take a little bit to get used to, but they are extraordinarily quick. They offer a lot of grip. They are a fantastic thing to drive. Yeah, it's the perspective that's given in iRacing. It's probably not quite as accurate as you get. You're a little lower in the car when you're actually driving it, so you don't see quite as much. You're quite right. Reese Harnell leaving pit lane, having done another service on that vehicle. Getting up towards the critical lap in this one, expecting their drivers to want to get to at least lap 50 before they do anything too dramatic, particularly with the track temps. We're not seeing too much of a drop-off in the lap times here. The drivers running now in the very low 43s or high 42s, so just dropping 2/10 off the early race pace. Temperature and tyre degradation would be contributing factors to that. As we just see there, Purnell getting quite loose as well, and that has exposed him to Vandenberg, who is going to absolutely eat him up and head on by. Get the job done there, so Purnell will be frustrated with himself there, just getting a little bit loose out of that corner. He's going to try and use the draft to go straight back by Vandenberg, and he does and gets it done. So fair old pace differential between those two cars. I know Lee said he was struggling a little bit in the pre-race drivers briefing with the setup on this one for the oval track. It's actually his very first oval track race, so he's doing a fantastic job to be running in third. He's extraordinarily quick in circuit racing, so I'm not, to be brutally honest, all that surprised that he's quick here as well. And if it's his first race, well, we've got to watch out for him as we continue to head through the season. With Pocono probably one of the, not necessarily the more challenging circuits, but it is a triangle it is a triangle circuit rather than an oval, so slightly different track to run at, but an interesting one. Yeah, we were speaking about that earlier, Scotty, with the strategy. These guys kept switching laps and doing what they were doing, but we were of the same mindset that just to sit in behind someone and snuggle up for an early Friday evening and then get the job done towards the back end, particularly if we get another yellow flag or anything like that, there's really no point in doing it. Plus, they've got a decent gap now to climb Bussing at 1.2 seconds, so they really need to use the drafting and the pack of the two cars together to get any advantage to get the cars up to the leader. So yeah, and even just about generating overall lap pace. So Scotty's just saying there that the tyres work slightly harder, but if you sit in cruise control or maybe a lower engine mode to try and conserve some fuel, he's right. And you conserve fuel anyway by not needing to hit the rev limit to, or not hitting the top cutout in the car to get up to top pace. You can just you'll always conserve a few hundred RPM just sitting in the draft, but Chris knows what he's doing. He's done a fair bit of driving in these cars, so we'll see what comes of it. The gap here as well. I'm just jumping back between, I think, Yemen and Clank really close as Yemen ducks into pit lane, so he is the first of our front runners to blink. And he's going to duck through pit lane. He'll do a full service, I imagine, take 4 tyres and also fuel the car up to the end. So he's made it to halfway through 45 laps, is halfway through this one. So he will definitely make it through to the end of the race. He'll have some pretty average tyres, I would think. They're just doing a little quick repair, some slight damage on the shell of that car, but nothing too severe. So he's done that, and he is out and running. So that moves Brad Klink up into 4th position. He is 17 seconds behind Lee Vandenberg in 3rd, having a good clean run. He copped a little bit of damage in our Pro Mazda race earlier in the evening, but still managed to finish 2nd actually. So 4th, my apologies. So doing a good job to get back into the race there. I'm actually pretty sure he finished 2nd, but the listing changed when they all went past one another at the end of the race. So fairly certain of that. So doing a good job jumping into this one. Chris Purnell blinks. Julian Klein-Bussink blinks as well. And again, that pit entry, just the key there, Purnell making up a lot of time on cars in the entry to pit lane. He actually made up a spot on pit lane entry when they pit under the safety car earlier on in the race. So looks really, really sketchy when the guys get that close together on the pit lane road. But as you can see there, the cars do allow for it. So Purnell down, fueling. He'll want to get out as quickly as he can. He might even slightly short fuel it. to get out in front and get into the lead. Just waiting to see if that happens. We've got Vandenberg still out on track. Klink now up into second position, but those guys still going to need to do a second service. They might leave it till later on. You can hear the fueling here taking a while. They'll be close to empty. Just waiting for it to happen. Polito out there, so he's short fueled. I imagine he may have done a calculation. I don't know. Here it's a very, very long pit stop for these two. As Brad Klink pulls into pit lane, and there it is. Purnell gets it done. That quicker entry just serving him well. He's made up 2 positions with that tonight. And seconds gained on pit entry, very, very valuable. So we've got Vandenberg in now, and Brad Klink already in ahead of him. So I'm not sure what happened there to have that happen. Vandenberg completed another lap on Klink. So that's why as Klink comes out of pit lane now. So looking to see here, Daniel Yemen's done his service. So he is our race leader at the moment. As I heard there, Brad Klink, I think, go off in the background out of pit lane. So he's back on track. Cold tyres potentially catching him out there. We'll just see if there's any damage to that car. Doesn't look like it. So perhaps just having a little bit of a spin there on the exit of pit lane. As we've got Vandenberg come out of pit lane now as well, and Yemen is chasing him down as you would expect. So Vandenberg's done a shorter stop there than Purnell and Kleinbussing. Kleinbussing and Purnell doing a big stop, 1:25 full transition time for them, with Vandenberg, Yemen, Klink and Polito just doing shorter stops, and just not sure that they need a full tank of fuel to get home from here, unless they didn't fuel early on and the others did. So that may play them into the lead once this all plays its way out, as we're now on to lap 49 of 90. That's a big play from Vandenberg if he's got that done. That means he did refuel during the pit, the early yellow flag in the race, which you would have expected all of the drivers to do. They certainly took tyres, so why they wouldn't fuel at the same time under a safety car is beyond me. So I'm not sure that that's the cause of this, but we've ended up with a situation where 2 of our drivers have done massive stops, 1:25 total pit lane transition, or stationary time 50 seconds apiece. There's fast repairs in this race, so it's not a matter of those 2 drivers doing repairs to their Indy cars unless they didn't take tyres. With the track temperatures the way that they are, I can't imagine any of the drivers not taking tyres halfway through this race, particularly with the lap time peel that we were starting to see. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But as it is, we've got Vandenberg from Yemen, and we've got Brad Klink in 3rd. Ron Polito up into 4th. Now they've got a fairly friendly gap. Gap from the leader back to Kleinbussing, who went into pit lane in the lead, is 38 seconds. So lap speed differential there, not enough. He's not going to make that up by time. So really looking for a yellow flag, or for Vandenberg to have to pit again. Maybe Vandenberg rolling the dice that there is going to be another pit that he can jump through and get, and move himself into a position to attack. Vandenberg actually the fastest man on the track last lap, and the fastest lap of the race with a 42.13. So he is flying on those new tyres, which again tends to suggest maybe he's a little light on fuel. So we'll see how it pans out as we get through the next 38 laps of this one. So Klink and Polito are getting close together as well. There's about a 2-second gap between them there. The guys doing the double stint as Carl Barvik enters pit lane again for this evening. This will just be a refuel, I imagine, for him. But Klink and Polito, along with Barvik, actually all doing double duties. They raced in our Pro Mazda race earlier in the evening, and now running in this one. So very well presented cars, the guys from Redback Racing Team, that Bow Repair sponsorship. They always put together a good livery for their sponsors, which is fantastic because, as you know, it's difficult to get sponsorship dollars to help out with this sort of stuff, and there is a cost involved to it. And you definitely want to be doing your best to represent the sponsors as best you can. I wonder if Barvik there doing a little bit of strategy to try and catch up to his teammate to help him out with a little bit of drafting. So we'll just keep an eye on that as we get through this one. Klein Bussink and Purnell having a gap develop between themselves as well, now out to about a second. Purnell won't be happy with that because he did get past Klein Bussink in the pit lane, and he has dropped that position again. He'll want to be working with him to get the gap down and catch up to the leaders. 7-second gap to Polito. Both Purnell, fastest man on track last lap, but both Purnell and Klein Bussink going faster to the tune of about 3/4 of a second, which is massive in oval track racing. Quicker a lap than Polito, so they will catch him. And then they've just got to make their way up onto Klink in front. So Vandenberg here basically out on his own. And I think he is actually catching Purnell. So there's a risk here that Purnell will go a lap down if he's not too careful. And again, that is solely the responsibility of that extended pit stop that he and Klein Bussink had to take. So I want to see how that plays out. He definitely won't want to go a lap down, particularly not if we get a safety car through. That will wreck his race. So he has to be really careful. There's no wave throughs under the safety car here, so if he does get lapped by Vandenberg and there is a safety car, he will be forced to drop to the back of the field. Definitely not something that he wants as a prospect during the race. Jump on board now with Ron Polito and see how he is doing. Sitting now again just in the middle of two cars. He's got 4 seconds in front to Brad Klink, 5 behind to Klein Bussink. Another team that always presents really, really well dressed up cars. The Polito Brothers Racing Team do a great job of that. Their liveries are always nice and consistent. It's good when you can watch racing and see that the livery of the car and know which team it is that it's for. And the Polito brothers do that with their cars, himself and Ron. Ron and Phil, my apologies, running a red and yellow combination between the two of them, and always looking fantastic with the metallic painted wheels on their rigs as well. So Klein Bussink and Purnell still within reaching distance of one another in the gap, the pack behind this one that we're on with Polito. Still about 2 seconds back down the track. But definitely coming. So Ron will be under attack in the not too distant future and will need to defend his position. As you can see there, the Purnell and Klein Bussink Dalara's on their way down the track. Got an exciting few weeks coming up in the iRacing circles with the release of some new material. We've got the LMP2 Dalara coming out in the next release, which happens, it'll be early Tuesday week. I believe the update will come through. Oh, in fact, no, it's going to be a little bit earlier than that because they're going to run the cars in this coming week. So we'll get access to those. We've also got the new Corvette. Yeah, they are running some. They are running some events to test the cars out. I believe it's going to be late next week, Scotty. So they'll be out in the next update, and they'll be part of some week 14 shenanigans, from what I have been told. As there is a change for position there with Klein Busick over Polito, so he's got the job done there. So now Purnell closing up on the back of Polito to try and get through as well. He'll be using the draft to his advantage as he can. And he'll get the job done down the inside there as he continues to try and pursue the lead of this race with Klein Busick. Purnell just having to give Ron the favour of a toe as Ron tries to make sure he doesn't lose touch with these guys. I know I've mentioned it before, we'll mention it again. Ron, relatively new to iRacing. He's been doing it now for about 3.5 months. And a really good competitor, very aware of the surroundings on the track and making sure that he doesn't do anything silly, but also he's a good hard racer. We love having him involved in our series. So good job to him. He has got this man closing him down. You can see him just there, and we're talking about the circumstances. You don't want to get lapped, because if we get a yellow flag, you will not get let past the safety car to get back onto the lead lap. So you definitely want to try and stay in front of Lee Vandenberg. We are guessing that he's going to have to pit. He literally took a splash of fuel on the pit stop. He did not take tyres, so he's going to have to. He's either going to slow down significantly as the tyres go off with the high track temp, or he is going to need to pit again. He's going to get the job done on Ron here, using the draft to his advantage there on the inside line. And so Ron now, that's strategically not great for his race. So Vandenberg now in the lead. 24-second gap to Daniel Yemen. He is about a straight and a half behind. And Brad Klink about 10 seconds further back down the road from that. Klink there working with Barvik, I think, to just try and maximise the lap pace that he gets out of that car. Klein Busick and Purnell do well to do the same thing if they can. Got all three of them there together with Harnell as well, so it does help when you got some teammates on the track in this kind of racing to try and improve the draft that you get. You know, you're not going to cop any friendly fire, or hopefully not cop any friendly fire anyhow. Just trying to keep an eye on the top speeds of Klink. He should be able to get one of them in front, and we've just had an accident here with, looks like Daniel Yemen's gone off. Yeah, he has. There's a whole heap of stuff missing off that IndyCar, and what's that going to do? That's going to play. I expect to see this man pull into pit lane and take some tyres when he can. It'll be closed as he comes around now until they do pick up the safety car. But that effectively means we've got Vandenberg, Klink, Klein Busick and Purnell on the lead lap. We were saying before about not wanting to get lapped by Lee Vandenberg if you can avoid it. That car crabbing down the road extraordinarily well there. So Yemen doing a good job to try and get that back to pit lane without the tow. And we don't mean the tow of another car. We mean literally on the tow truck. So he needs to get that one around, and he'll get that repaired as we pick up the safety car here. He's going to head down past the safety car and head down to pit lane. You can hear that thing screeching along the road. And it's actually picked up Ron Polito. No, he's going to drop in behind, so that's not going to serve him well. It would have been good if he could have got out. What he really wants to have here is for Vandenberg to pull into pit lane so that he can get himself unlapped. Just have to wait and see what happens here. I'm expecting Vandenberg to duck in and take tyres. There's every reason to do it right now. He's lost his advantage of the gap that he created while the rest were in pit lane doing tyres, and as they are on fresher tyres, you expect them to be quicker, particularly towards the end of the race. So obviously with the safety car coming around here, they're all going to group up together. They're all on the same lap. So as there he goes into pit lane, and he will get a fresh set of tyres on that one. Brad Klink equally not taking tyres. He has hopped in. So going to see here Julian Klein-Bussink take the lead back of the race. Ron Polito will get himself unlapped, and Chris Purnell will move up into second place. Purnell deciding to pull into pit lane as well. That's really, really interesting, because he did do tyres, did do fuel. He was ready to go till the end. In fact, everyone has come into pit lane there. The timing board just not updating quick enough. Klein-Bussink also in pit lane. So everyone deciding it's a good time to take a little bit of juice and some new tyres. We'll just keep an eye on Vandenberg there. He has done, again, a real quick stop. So he's only done fuel there. So no fresh tyres for him again. No fresh tyres for anyone. It's just juice. So we've got Vandenberg from Klink, we've got Klein-Bussink, Yemen, who actually managed to get into pit lane, get the repair done and get out of pit lane, and before Purnell came through. So the reset order here is we've got Vandenberg, Klink, Klein-Bussink, Yemen, Purnell, and Polito did unlap himself. So he is... No, he is not going to be in the clear. He's still going to be a lap down at the end of all of this as well. So just on a caution here, it is only our second caution of the night, and it comes at a good time, or as good a time as it can for our race leaders. We're going to have, by the time this caution period is over, a 20-lap dash to the end, 90-lap race here tonight. It is time certain as well, but we were a little bit generous on the time it was going to take, so that we got to the end of the 90 laps before the clock struck 12 and we all turned back into pumpkins. So they're a little bit out of sync here. You've got, I believe it's Barvik behind Klink, and he will be asked to move his way to the back of the pack, so he will be penalised as a consequence of this scenario. Polito has entered pit lane as well. Let's try and find out who that is. I'm pretty sure it's Carl. No, Carl Barvik coming back around there. So Reese Harnell, he will be asked to move down to the inside of the track and drop to the back of it as the lights go out on the pace car for the final lap around to sort that out. Not sure why that hasn't happened as yet, but it will. Yeah, they do, but with such a small field tonight, it's actually not a bad thing, because it allows everyone to get through and get some stuff done and close the field back up there. Scotty Rankin just saying that, that the caution periods take an age, and yes, they do. But helps us out with, as I said, with the smaller field. Groups everyone back up again, and we get to go racing. So not the worst thing in the world. So again, still surprised that that Harnell here hasn't made his way to the back of the pack. That is what I expect to see. Just wait to see that happen, but he should be asked to do that as a lapped car in the traffic. So just wait to see here as I believe the lights are out on our safety car. You can see Vandenberg there just slowing the field up a little bit. We'll jump out to, he's holding the pack up here, which he is entitled to do. And we're back under green flag there. I'm not going to say that it will happen, but I'm expecting to see a black flag for Harnell there. He may not have taken the required move that he needed to take. I'll jump on board with Polito for you guys there. He is there with Phil and Scotty Rankin getting involved. Love it. So we jump back out to the front of the field here to see what ends up happening. But I'd be pretty sure that Harnell's going to get a black flag. That the lobby is set to have that happen, Scotty. So that's why I'm surprised that he hasn't been asked to make his way to the back of the pack, which would be normal. I don't know if he's trying to help out his teammate a little bit or not, but we'll see what happens here as he's pulled down onto the inside of the track. 20 laps to go. He's right in the a little bit in the way there as well. So got Purnell, who has had a cracking restart here. That's played to his advantage after the longer stop in the middle, and he has moved his way up to third position. Brad Klink second, right behind our race leader as they all come through. Got Daniel Yemen, who was actually the cause for the yellow flag, but he hasn't benefited too badly out of it. He's still in fourth place with Julian Klein-Bussink, probably the one who's paid the penalty the most, having done a stop. He is 2 seconds down the track in fifth. So I'm just keeping an eye on Reece Harnell. I'm expecting him to transit his way through pit lane and get a black flag done. Keep an eye on that for you all as we are back under green. 19 to go. Lee Vandenberg, 42.07. He is so quick out of the blocks after these pace car periods. 42.07 is his fastest lap of the race. And as far as we can tell, he has not taken tyres. So the worn tyres suiting his driving a little bit here. This will be his first oval track win as well. First time driving the IndyCar around an oval track. A fantastic result if he can get the job done. And he's certainly got the gap at the moment. He's right out in front as we see Purnell lose 2 positions there, or a position there to Daniel Yemen, who is driving his way back into this one. Purnell, these two have been trading laps like himself and Klein-Bussink had already as we make our way around. Oh, it's got real close there. I think that might have just been the aero wash that's made that happen, and we've got another yellow flag. So we're just going to have to jump back and have a look at that one. They were very, very close together there. Just going to slow it down as we get to here. Oh, and it's really difficult to see whether there was a touch there or not. But that certainly hasn't helped him. We're going to jump back and have another look at that one. And just try and get to the... Oh, no, it's just been in trying to avoid it. It may have been what they call an echo, but I don't think there was even any contact there. It was really, really close. And I think in just the nerves of trying to avoid any impact at all, he's just slightly lost the back of the car. We'll just have another quick look at it from that perspective there if we can. As they come around the corner here. As we get there, no, there was a very small impact onto the left-hand rear of Daniel Yemen, and that is what has caused that slide. Unfortunately, again, one of those things that you probably would call a racing incident. When you look at it, the impact there, very, very small. So just jump back on board. I'm not sure what's happened to the audio there. We seem to have lost it. So still showing that we're in a replay when we're not. So not too sure what's going on with that. So apologies for the loss of audio there. I can always pretend to make some race car sounds. But there we go. It's picked itself back up. And sorted itself out, thankfully. So Daniel Yemen there, he is still, after all that on our lead lap, he is just a little bit down the field. Oh, he actually hasn't jumped into pit lane yet. He's going to go and do that now. And he won't lose a lap, which is good. He managed to get it back out on track, and he will get that fast repair done and get back out and around behind our pack before losing a lap. So that is good to see. Albeit, obviously, he would have been preferred to be battling up the front there. He's going to get back around, join the pack, and get back involved in the battle for the lead. And off he goes. So he will definitely join back up onto the back of this field. So that's not the worst outcome out of all of that. Yeah, thanks, Scotty, for the car noises there, mate. We're going to need a few more. There's 7 cars, so just a bit of the high-paced, squealy stuff. But fortunately, the sound came back up there. Had a little bit of issue with the overlay tonight, but it has been pretty good, touch wood, for the last few weeks. So interesting as well here, what again should happen is that all of those cars that are in front of Daniel Yemen should be... no, that's not right at all. Ignore me. We'll just get back to racing when we get back to racing. So, Vandenberg, Klenk, Purnell, Klein Bussink and Daniel Yemen now fighting out for the lead of this one. Very similar to the Pro Mazda, where we ended up basically with a one-lap sprint at the end of that race. We're on lap 75 as we pass the line into lap 76 of this one. And it's only a 90-lap race. We've got 14 to go. So it's going to be a close finish, which is exactly what we, as the pundits, want. So not the worst outcome. I've said that a lot tonight. There's a lot to be positive about. So absolutely the way to go. I'm really stoked for Vandenberg. He's had a cracker. He was really, really concerned, as I said before in the driver's briefing, about actually getting around here without dumping the car into the wall. And he's not done that at all. So he's doing a fantastic job. Brad Klink made his way back up the field as well. So did Purnell. Actually, this has helped Klein Bussink make up the damage that was done to his race by taking that long pit stop. So expect these top five drivers to really have a solid crack at it as the lights go out on the safety car. And I shouldn't say the safety car, it is the pace car in IndyCar as the lights go out on the pace car. And it'll be up to Lee Vandenberg to get us back underway again. He's going to be under pressure from Brad Klink, who narrowly missed out on a win in the Pro Mazda by 2/100ths of a second. Purnell will be all over him, and Klein Bussink and Yemen will be heavily involved as well. So don't go anywhere. Hold on to your hats. It's going to get nasty as we go racing in a few short moments. It is a single file restart here, so expect the drivers to pull into single file. That's what's required. And they're doing the right thing here. Don't want to stick out too far and get a black flag. Purnell there's just going to have to make his way back into the queue. It's not really where you want to be. As Vandenberg's going to control the pace of this one. We're waiting for the pace car to peel off. Get round turn 3 here, and the pace car will peel off pretty quickly, and we'll be off and running again. And we're going to have 13 short laps to get a result here at Pocono. Purnell now pulls in behind Brad Klink. 15 to go, 14 to go, as we said. So let's get on with it here. Simrigs.com, AFTERSHOCK PC, and Razer, brought to you by FGM ECast. They're our partners in this broadcast tonight. And we're looking forward to this last sprint race, effectively, that we've got now, with Vandenberg, Klink, Purnell, and Klein Bussink all off in a group, trying to make it happen. Daniel Yemen sitting behind them. He's actually caught in a small amount of traffic again. I'm not sure why it hasn't updated the way that it should have, as Klink drops back to 4th. just in the traffic. This pack is going to be tight and furious for the next few laps. I'm going to zoom out a bit here as it is Purnell trying to get onto the back of Lee Vandenberg as they make their way down the front straight. 13 to go. 4 wide, 3 wide, trying to be 4 wide down the front straight with Yemen, Klink, Polito and Klein Bussink all in a battle there for 3rd place. You can see them, they're all swerving, trying to find a place to sit and to get the draft as Yemen there is in front of Brad Klink. So we've got an out of order car again just sitting there in front, so he'll be actually benefiting. Daniel Yemen there will be getting a draft from him, which is going to help pull him around. And you can see him there trying to stick on the back of it. And he's got a really, really cracking run there. Klein Bussink getting a very slow exit. And he will need to jump on the back there of Yemen to try and get a draft and get a help along, or he's going to be exposed here to Klink behind him, who's going to try and get that extra spot. Klink there jumping in the draft as well. Reese Harnell entering pit lane, potentially to serve that drive-through, as we've had a bump and off goes. It's a big spin there. Carl Barvik off, and hopefully we don't have a yellow flag. No, we do have another caution there. So this is the frustrating thing about these cars not getting cycled back down through the pack. I'm really not sure why that's not doing that. It was set up to do it, and they're just unfortunately getting that little bit involved where we want to just have a clean run to the end of this race. Again, what it means is we're going to get an even shorter sprint to the conclusion of this one. However, it also means our race order is sorted out. The front 5 cars now in order are Vandenberg, Purnell, Yemen, Klein Bussink and Klink, followed by Ron Polito. Got Barvik and Harnell now following around the pack there. With Barvik, he's going to have to duck into pit lane. He did just have, it looked like a mid-track spin. So it just depends on whether or not there's any damage to that car. I think for the sake of it, he'll probably run through pit lane. Oh, sorry, it was Reese Harnell, my apologies. I think he'll probably just run through pit lane. As he can, he's got it in neutral there, just giving it a full bloody bucket of noise. And if there is no one, interesting there as Klein Bussink entered pit lane. It's an interesting strategy. He must have got some damage. Carl Barvik there into pit lane as well. He definitely did get some damage. Actually, you can see there the back of the spoiler, the back spoiler on that car looking very, very second-hand. So as Klein Bussink will get his service done, and he will be back out into the race again very promptly. Probably not needing a lot there. Oh no, as it gets worse, as Barvik overshoots the pit box, and out goes Klein Bussink. So almost no harm, no foul there for him as he gets back out into the race. Very thick in the mid-pack there. Hopefully lights go out on the safety car this time around, on the pace car this time around. Going to have an 8-lap sprint race at the end of this safety car period. So get yourselves ready for that. It's going to be frantic. Let's hope it's clean racing like it was at the end of the Pro Mazda race earlier this evening. If you missed that one, 2/100ths of a second was the gap covering the first 2 cars, but effectively first 4 cars went 4 cars wide across the start-finish line at the end of that race. Seeing Josh Maynard take out his maiden win in the Pro Mazda. Still got more to come for you this weekend on FGM ECast, just as we get around to do these laps under the safety car. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Remastered 1 and 2 today released on PlayStation, so we got a copy of that, and we will be bringing you some of that nostalgic gaming, and I think that may make up some of our night next Wednesday evening for the retro gaming night, albeit we have sort of turned that into a Fall Guys affair, so we'll see what that comes of that. And following that, we've actually got a new IndyCar race. We're doing effectively variety on Wednesday, and the Wednesday racing with IndyCar had been the 87 series stuff, but we're now going to be doing a few different things with them. So we've got modifieds coming at you this coming Wednesday as well. Our Tuesday night series, the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series, is on again for another week as well. And of course, on Thursday night, we're not doing we don't have the double header anymore. The NZSR series coming to its conclusion yesterday evening at Road America. So we've just got the AEE series live at this stage, but we are working hard to fill that gap on a Thursday night. So plenty to go on with. Every second Thursday off. Yes, that is correct, until we fill every second Thursday with something else. Because people don't want to watch empty screens, they want to watch the racing and the entertainment, so we've got plenty in the works. There's also a fair bit of endurance racing coming along as well. So we've got a lot of enduro stuff coming up in late September and October, with Bathurst and Petit Le Mans coming as well. As we go green again, we've got 8 laps to go as we get it done. So just watching here to make sure everyone gets through as they can, with Vandenberg, Purnell, Yemen and Klein Bussink, with Brad Klink having a bad start there. He's dropped right back to 5th from 2nd on the grid, so 3rd on the grid, my apologies. So he is got some work to do. There's Yemen here, the man who did go through pit lane with the repairs for that safety car, up into 3rd. And the cars are all over one another now, as Purnell tries to get into the lead here and get the job done on Vandenberg, who's basically been uninterrupted in his lead of the race since that first round of pit stops. He's going to fight back here. We're going to have a very much a yo-yo battle for the last 7 laps of this one. It's going to be a matter of positioning the car for that last lap. That's what you want to do. You want to be ready to go, sitting in the draft, pulling out, getting the slingshot and taking the lead of the race. The pack will spread a little, as it started to do here. Clank's dropped off the pack. We've got Klein, Bussink, Yemen and Purnell, along with Lee Vandenberg, 4 wide, or not 4 wide, in a grouping of 4 there. You can see the aero effect. And they're also just trying to find some position on track, or as Purnell gets extraordinarily close to Yemen there. And very good driving by them not to touch as they come through. But it has cost a place there. And the benefactor there is Vandenberg, as these 3 argue. And then there's a wall of Bow Repairs cars, the RRT Bow Repairs cars, that is coming down the track behind these guys. Purnell, unfortunately, the big loser out of that early part of the race. He will keep fighting, though, these 3. This is where it's going to be. Vandenberg has cleared out. He is a 2nd up the track, and he will want to make sure that he stays there. There's plenty of draft seeking going on here between Klein, Bussink, Yemen and Purnell. 6 laps to go. On turn 3, we're going to be down to 5 laps to go as we go past the start-finish line. Purnell now dropping a little bit out of the draft. 41.9 for Vandenberg. Again, fastest man on the track on these restarts. He definitely enjoys that car out of the pace car period. And you can see there, Klein Bussink getting high, but getting the line done. Now opening up a gap upon Yemen. Purnell's closed up right on the back of Yemen. So the battle's still on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th here. 5 laps to go. We're about to head around towards 4 laps to go in this 90-lap race from Pocono. What can Yemen do? Is he going to sit in the draft here and try and make a play for that last lap? He'll expose himself potentially to Purnell if he does that. No, he decides he's got to get it done. He's gone to the inside line on the track on Klein Busick. He's going to get that job done. He's going to be able to cut across him as they tend into turn 1 here. And Purnell really needs to make his way back up into the back of this battle if he's going to feature in it for the last couple of laps of the race. You can see there them side by side as we head down through, almost halfway through this lap. Next time around, it'll be 3 to go. Purnell closed right up on the back again now, so very much the battle pack here with Vandenberg's got this one sewn up, provided nothing happens there. As for some reason, we get a little bit of a dropout. And I'm not sure why that has happened. One of the cars that we've been trying to jump on board with disappeared off the track. We had a little blink there, so we're back on board now with Purnell and Yemen. And it was Klein Bussink who had a big blink. He has dropped a full place down. He's in 5th place now. So now it's these two. We've got Purnell and Yemen. There was no damage there to Klein Bussink whatsoever. So it was just an internet issue, unfortunately. But Yemen and Purnell now battling still. They're going to battle now for the next 2 laps. We've got 2 laps to go. Vandenberg 3 seconds in front. He has this one tied up. It is now the run for 2nd place between these two who have battled together all night. And it's getting real close again. They're giving one another room where they can, but they need to be close enough as we head into the second last lap of this race. Purnell pulls just in front, down on the inside line. Now he's going to take the lead. Sitting in the draft, Yemen. He's going to try and get it done. He just moves up to the outside of the track. Purnell's got nice and close to him here to try and keep him on that high side of the track where it's going to be a little bit slower for him. No. Nice driving from these two drivers, still next to one another, neck and neck. There is 2 100ths of a second between them as we head around to get started on the final lap of this race. How is this one going to play out? Lee Vandenberg's going to take out the race as he's just put in the fastest lap of the race on the second last lap of the race. So he's flying. Track conditions may be coming back to the drivers a little bit here. And Purnell has to defend if he's going to do anything down the inside here, or he's going to have to make the call to pull in and try and shoot out from behind the draft. Both drivers doing a great job to give one another room here and give us the final show that we were hoping for. It's going to get really close. Brad Klink making a run. He's close behind these two. He's not going to get close enough, I don't think, to get involved. But you've definitely got a sprint here. Who's going to win it? As we come around the final corner, is it going to be Yemen or Purnell? It's going to be Yemen. He's got the job done, and he's going to take out second ahead of Chris Purnell with a close, hard-charging Brad Klink right behind them there. What a finish. Great driving from Yemen and Purnell. But can't take anything away from Lee Vandenberg as he took out the race win. He cut and run after that pace car and stayed out of this as those two put on a fantastic show, Purnell and Yemen, to finish the race out for us. Cracking job and well done to those two drivers for that performance. And thank you for sharing it with us. What a end to both of our races tonight on FGM ECast. We had 9 100ths of a second between these two, and we only had 2 100ths of a second in our Pro Mazda race. So circuit oval track racing definitely bringing about the close finishes in IndyCar. So looking forward to getting the drivers into the combox and just have a little bit of a chat with them there, particularly with the interrupted close to that race with those couple of late safety car periods, followed by that fantastic driving from Purnell and Yemen to close this one out. Definitely going to cut the end to those races from our footage and get them up on our social pages. So if you are looking around, definitely have a look at that stuff during the week as we get that up over and have a revisit to what were 2 classic finishes to our races. So Klein Bussink, we just seen that. That's unfortunate, Julian. You were running up the front there. We didn't realise. We thought maybe you had a net code, not a disqualification. That is really unfortunate. You ran a really, really great race, Julian. Thank you for your participation tonight, mate. We really appreciated it.
Right, yeah, it's good racing.
It was good racing, Lee. You cleared out. Safety cars were your friend. You managed to crack away from the pack just about after every safety car there was. Great drive.
Yeah, thank you. It's a whole different kettle of fish, these ovals, but it was kind of just, the setup was pretty good out in clear air. I was battling in the wash a fair bit behind Julian and Chris at the start, sort of thing there, but if I got out in a bit of fresh air, it seemed to pull all right. It's just a matter of sort of hopefully trying to survive the first lap or two after a yellow. Yeah.
And getting the job done. Well, congratulations on your first oval track IndyCar win. It was a strong performance from you.
Thank you very much.
And Chris and Daniel giving us the finish that we had in the Pro Mazda, just trying to replicate that in the Dallara part of the evening as well. A fantastic driving from you both. Daniel, if I can start with you, you're probably a little bit frustrated there towards the end of the race, having to get through pit lane, but didn't end up serving you too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I guess I triggered the second safety car, which, as it turned out, was a godsend because I'd mucked up turn 2, and thankfully recovering the car meant we got that second safety car out. That was a bit difficult. I was a bit concerned having to push through lap traffic, but just kept the foot down with fresh tyres, and I'd been trimming the car out with less aero at every stop, because just after that second stint where I fell behind the front 5, I knew I needed to find more pace if I ever lost the draft or just the ability to be able to push around the corners. Then just thankfully keep trimming the car, stay out of any further trouble. Apart from that unfortunate contact with Chris for the third safety, but just was able to put the tyres on at that third safety car, and then just as I had confidence in the car, thankfully, and bring it home around the outside strong.
Yeah, we went back and had a look at the replay of that, and it was so unfortunate because it was the faintest of touches just on your left-hand rear wheel, with just the skirt of Chris's car. So, and it was fantastic racing up to that point with you guys giving one another plenty of room, and obviously towards the end of the race and across the finish line, the same thing. So, thank you. It was a good race to call, and certainly a good result for you there in the end.
Pleasure to do myself some good and put on a show at the same time.
Yeah, no, we've definitely enjoyed it. And Chris, likewise, not quite playing out for you there. You that mid stop, you made up plenty of time going into pit lane. I think it's the first time I've ever seen anyone pass someone into pit lane during a race.
Yeah, until it stung me for speeding in the pits and I lost 40 seconds.
So that's we couldn't work out why the time difference was so bad, because you don't get to see the Indy cars actually change tyres, so we just suspected that was the cause.
And I knew that I had a chance to gain on Julian, and I know that Lee had sort of dropped back from the aero wash and hurt his tyres a bit, so I sort of knew that was sort of my moment to try and make my move, and Julian braked later than I did, and then I braked later again, and then we both got done for speeding, so... And then I was just hoping for a caution, and obviously Daniel sort of spun at the right time before Lee catched and put me a lap down, so sort of put me back in it. But yeah, I was a little bit frustrated. But and then the contact at near the end with Daniel was a little bit frustrating as well. I just got a little bit tight mid-corner and just pushed up a little bit too far. So, but yeah, apart from that, good racing. I probably went the wrong way. I was more aero dependent, so I was pretty good in air, but as soon as I got out the front, somebody just comes steaming back past me again. I just couldn't hold the front until the tyres go off, and after 20 laps I would have been all right, but it wasn't meant to be. But it was a good race other than that.
Well, we certainly enjoyed it, and that answers that question. We were wondering, because no one else was that slow through the pits, and to be brutally honest, I didn't even think of speeding in the pits as a potential outcome. That's sort of the only thing that I do when I'm racing. So, all good.
Got to be committed to make it happen.
Yeah, you definitely do. But thoroughly enjoyed it, particularly for such a small field. I think everyone did a ripping job and gave us some good racing to watch right the way through. So thank you, gentlemen, for your participation, and we'll do it all again in a fortnight as we head back to some circuit-based stuff for our next round of the Pro Series And that's it for us for the evening. So at this stage, obviously, just a big thank you to our channel partners, Virtual Motorsport Mentor being one of those, as well as AFTERSHOCK PC, Ryan and the crew in St Kilda. And we are a Razer streamer. Thank you to everyone who joined us for this evening. We'll be back at some stage over the weekend, probably tomorrow afternoon, with a little bit of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which we got a copy of today. And we do have some Madden to bring you as well on Sunday afternoon, as well as some golf. So a few different things on the stream over the weekend before we head back into the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series next Tuesday. So do stick around. There'll be some highlights from tonight that we'll put up on the stream over the weekend. And as usual, thank you very much for joining us on your E-Place for Pace FGM ECast. We will catch you next time.